Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com and welcome to today's Fun Friday project. We're going to be making a card using the Sweet Cupcake stamp set. This is a photopolymer stamp set. I chose this stamp set because the accompanying framelit dies called CupCake Cutout Framelits happens to be on sale in the Online Extravaganza sale that's currently running from the 21st to the 28th of November 2016. This die cut set has 10 die cuts in it. That's for the candle, the flame and the squiggly bit that looks like the smoke. The top of the cupcake base, 2 letters spelling sweet and wish, a curly swirly decorative one, a banner die and also another little die. Let's gather our supplies. You'll need the Sweet Cupcake stamp set, the die cuts. The card base is half an A4 sheet. In Europe that measures 4 1/8 by 11 3/4 inches. In centimetres that's 10.5 by 29.9 centimetres. Then with the long side on top you score at 5 7/8 inches, that's 14.9 centimetres, and fold it in half. Then you need 2 whisper white pieces cut at 5 1/2 by 3 3/4, that's 14 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. You'll also need some extra scraps of Watermelon Wonder cardstock so that you can cut out the letters with. Watermelon Wonder ink, Delightful Dijon and Crumb Cake. Watermelon striped ribbon, it's approximately 5/8 inch wide, that's 1.6 centimetres wide. A magnetic platform, your cutting plates and your big shot. An aqua painter, Wink of Stella pen. I'm using the clear block D to mount my stamps on. Do our stamping first, so I'll need a foam mat underneath my whisper white sheet. This stamp set is a 3-step stamping method and the images have been numbered for you. So that's 1, 2 and 3, and also the cupcakes, that's 1, 2 and 3. Now if you start with the base of the cupcake, you might not get it in the position you want it in, so it's best to start with the top of the cupcake first, and you can do it in reverse order, 3, 2, 1, or you can do it 1, 2, 3, it doesn't really matter. I'll do this in the reverse order, and the way I remember it, if you're stamping with 3, then you stamp off twice before you stamp onto your cardstock. That is, if you're using the same ink pad, then by stamping off you will get different shades of the same colour. So if you stamp off twice, that will be the lightest. If you stamp off once, that will be slightly darker, and if you don't stamp off at all, it will be the darkest. So this is number 3, so we need to stamp off twice. 1, 2, then stamp onto my cardstock. This is number 2, I'm stamping it in Delightful Dijon. Stamp off once and then I stamp on the card the second time. And this stamp image is number 1, so I ink it up and then stamp it directly onto the cardstock. Can you see that effect? Now I want to stamp the cupcake base, so I'll do it in reverse. I'll stamp number 1 first with Watermelon Wonder. And as it's number 1, I stamp directly onto the cardstock. This is number 2, so I stamp off once, and then stamp onto the cardstock. This is number 3, so I stamp off twice, 1, 2, and then the third time I stamp onto my cardstock. So that's number 3. I've always said you ought to use the right size block for the image, because if you don't, you get blooming like that. So, you know, I've picked up ink on the block and I've accidentally stamped it where I don't want it. But we can address that later. We can, what I call an embellishment opportunity. Squeeze the lid on the crumb cake to transfer some ink onto the lid, so you can use it as a palette, and then use your aqua painter and then just make a little squiggle so that the cupcake has something to sit on. Next, I'm going to stamp my word. Hope it was. Bring in my magnetic platform, base cutting plate, cardstock, and the die cut, top cutting plate, and I'm ready to run it through the Big Shot. So I'll do that off camera. So let's bring in a silicone mat and my fine tip glue pen and apply adhesive on the back. And I'm going to have to cover that up somehow, so I think I shall stamp with love on it in Watermelon Wonder on Watermelon Wonder cardstock. Sandwich it in my magnetic platform and I'll just run this through the Big Shot. Dimensional, put it on the back and adhere it to the front. Tumbo glue on the back of that. Pop it on my card base rather. Give the Wink of Stella a bit of a shake and then highlight it on the darker bits. Last thing to do is tie the ribbon round. I'm working on the reel. Now this card is using the rest of the dies in the set, and you can make the swirly bits as a background. This one is a stepped up version which includes the bright sequin assortment, and the cupcake has been cut out of the Stitched Shapes framelit dies, which is a current sale item for November only, and it's got the circles, the ovals and the squares. There you have it. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you like it, do give me a thumbs up, subscribe or share on Facebook, and my grateful thanks if you do. If you're watching from YouTube, you'll find the list of supplies I use below this video in the Show More section with direct links to my online store. They will also be listed on my blog here at blog.stampwithelaine.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.